2 years ago, I was on this stage with so many of you present tonight, helping me launch into the world. Join me and say thank you. I never knew what will happen to me when I faced the greatest adversity in my life. 26 years ago, the man who's standing here, enjoying your presence, was living in the streets of London. Somebody who was torn apart emotionally, mentally, physically, and taken away from everything he has ever known. I could not speak. I could not think. I could only It's amazing what our inner being is capable of. What right now you may think you cannot have, tomorrow you can. Your heart, your soul, the wisdom that is embedded in every cell in your body can create anything it wants. It created this. It created you. It created me. It created our planet and everything we observe, the good and the bad. My father was a restaurateur, and my mother was a housewife, looking after not only my parents' business, but also 6 children of her own. On top of that, and she inherited another 6 children. Now, you can imagine what our parents do for us. You can imagine their loneliness, and you can imagine our loneliness when we are taken away from something we call home, from people that we love. Loneliness, it's everywhere. But our human awareness barely recognizes it. I want you to imagine our planet restlessly traveling in the universe amongst other stars in this big, vast space, and each one of them shining a light, as if each planet is signaling to the other planet to find their way back through empty space and through darkness. Now, let's bring that back into humanity. Bring that back in every soul and every human being on our planet, being that light, and also being that darkness. What prevents people globally to really access the inner light is our unbalanced perceptions, our values, the meanings that we put into things, and our individual perspective. We are all born great. Agreed? Yes? Bigger yes? Absolutely. We are all born great. But why is it we have so much suffering globally? Why is it that loneliness is everywhere? The loneliness story, which I share in #loneliness, is not only my story, and it's not only the story of the clients who willingly shared their intimate part, and some of them are here present with us tonight. It touched my heart being able to share their stories, but also globally what we're experiencing currently. I was alone. I lived my life alone. And I've met many lonely people. We hide behind so many facades that it becomes impossible for us to show our true identity to another human being. Why is it? We constantly show different masks to different people. Why can we just not open ourselves and be connected in such a transparent, trustworthy way that we don't need to have secrets, but we can be loved for who we are? In the image, in #loneliness, it's a tear. It's tear of joy and tear of pain. Unfortunately, the two of them are required for us to go through and being homeless in the streets of London and being in civil war in former Yugoslavia. I must say I have cried rivers and rivers and rivers. And it is that what inspired me, because loneliness is everywhere. A very special lady who also comes from Macedonia was very renowned about her message about loneliness, and that is Mother Teresa. I'm fortunate to have their support and have her quote in my book with their permission. And she quotes, in one of her visits to America, a reporter stops her. And as they do, they ask you a lot of questions. And they asked her, so what do you think about America? Very wealthy country. We have everything. We have freedom. We have democracy. We have money. We have buildings. In her Mother Teresa way, she smiles at the reporter, and she says, the greatest problem in West today, it's not tuberculosis, it's not leprosy, it is the feeling of being lonely, unloved, and uncared. She goes on to say that in West, we can heal many illnesses, but the only cure for loneliness is love. Think about it. It inspired me through every moment I wrote #loneliness. Then she goes and says, the greatest part of loneliness is also what makes us become hungry for love and hungry for God. And when we have the two in perfect balance, we're really on our right path, a path that leads us back into that light that we know in ourselves is there to shine for others to be able to find their way back into their own light. We are all mirrors to one another. I have learned in my personal evolution, with having so many of you part of my life, whether as friends, whether as clients, whether as associates, people who read my work, it's just been blissful to have so many mirrors. And each mirror reflects different images. Now, there are many mirrors we can use, but one thing I always say, it's what kind of mirror are we in ourselves? Because if we use the analogy of a mirror, it's great, fantastic, but what if we cannot see our own dirt? And yet we reflect back to another human being thinking we are a clean mirror. Loneliness, it's really in every layer of the society. And it is a very difficult subject for many people to talk about. It was difficult for me to share transparently the journey I had to go through and really be a clean mirror for humanity. Clean mirror for myself and for people out there. Because there's two effects that as we go through our own journey, the more we learn about ourselves, we also go through tremendous loneliness in that wisdom that we carry. Agree? Anybody feels, the more you learn and suddenly you are lonely in that? Because not everybody else thinks the same way. And that creates global problem. Since I was born, there have been 184 seasons. 46 autumns, winters, springs, and summers. Now, we know we are nature, and nature is a perfect mirror for ourselves. Each season brings life, and each season brings death. But we've learned to celebrate life, and we learn to judge death. But I do know that none of you in here would disagree with me that it is essential part of life for one to happen and the other to happen. Agree? We would never enjoy spring if the winter wasn't there. We would never enjoy summer if the spring wasn't there. We would never enjoy the beautiful autumn colors if autumn wasn't there. And for skiers out there, Sue, we would never enjoy the beauty of the white snow and that feeling when you're on the slopes. Now, I have undergone all of those experiences where so many things had to die in me for a new person to emerge, a better person to emerge. We can remain not moving, but unfortunately, that's not the case. We are constantly moving with the universe. We are that universe. Loneliness, it's not only a biological fact, it is also a necessity. We all come into this world alone, and we all live this world alone. Imagine if that wasn't the case. You think we have problems right now? It will be really bad problems in the world. Why loneliness? Many of my clients, my family, friends, readers of A Path to Wisdom, they've asked me, how on earth a man like you, who knows so many people, loves to connect, loves to share, writes about loneliness? We don't really perceive you as loneliness. I said, okay, I've asked this question myself all my life. And reason being, there have been many life atrocities that hit me without me even being aware of it. Sometimes you fly like an eagle and somebody shoots you. Bang. There are moments like that, and there will be moments like that in our lives. But what we can do is to better prepare for it. So there were three main reasons I wrote #loneliness. The first reason is really personal reasons. I've seen so many people going through the journey of loneliness. And Mother Teresa spent her lifetime helping people heal and love. I share in here, as some of you who bought the books, 12 life catastrophes. Earlier on I said 46 seasons, but I only shared 12. And those 12 started when I was born. And in brief, I will mention disability, physical and emotional and mental abuse, civil war, living on the street homeless, being made redundant, and undergoing the worst separation within myself, my sexuality, and my identity. Because I was groomed to be something I'm not. Yet my entire being almost vomited. And I had to follow what I was asked to do. Imagine what it feels in your own life when you're doing something you do not want to do. And it's not about sexuality. It's about not honoring your inner being, your emotions, your feelings, who you truly are within you. The second reason I really wrote #loneliness, it's as I started really going on a journey to discover more, thinking about my friends who are lonely, thinking of my interaction with a lot of my friends, which I would love to see them every single day. There are few of you in here, I would spend every hour with you guys. I would love to spend every hour with all of you guys. There's nothing more important than connecting with another human being. The feeling that you get being loved and transparent with another human being, there's no money that can buy. being transparent with our good things and with our bad things. In this research, I came about so much research about loneliness that it truly alarmed me. It alarmed me as a human being, not just as a coach, not just as a healer, as a child of this planet, as a child of a parent. And it made me think about the separation globally it's happening. And the shocking statistics, just one of them, I've mentioned quite few in my book, but one of them I would mention to you. We are becoming a lonely planet. And reason being, I will share with you 5 countries that are the loneliest countries in the world. Number 1, Sweden. 47% of Swedish households are occupied by single people. At number 2, I'm going to show up majority of you in here. It's Britain. Did you know that? 34% of British homes are occupied by single people. Now, you think about the crisis that we're telling ourselves, or whoever is telling us the lies that we don't have enough homes. Think about the reasons. At number 3, it's a country which I always wanted to visit, and maybe some of you will join me in there. A country which I love just to go and smell the blossom of a cherry tree. Some of you may know, if you don't, it's Japan, where 31% of Japanese homes are occupied by single people. And the next country, it's a country that I believe majority of you have been there, and majority of you have eaten pizza in your life. And you know that one. Which one? Italy. 29% of Italian homes are occupied by single people. The next country in the list is a big country that some of you might hate right now. It's America. 28% of American homes are occupied by single people. And this trend has been rising since 1960s. And it's going to get worse and worse and worse. Now, I would like to imagine what that means to us, to our society, both culturally, social economic implications that has, housing implication, public resources implications, and that all due to loneliness. Because alongside our famous individualism, where we are almost groomed to want to be alone, to want to be successful, to want to have our own homes, there's also another human saga, and that is a belief that we are all connected as one people in the universe, as one energy stream. Globally, nationwide, as people, as body, as one cell. We know this truth. We know the truth in our hearts. Yet we choose, or maybe unaware to our own conditioning, make the choices to think, feel, behave, and act in a way as we are not. We are connected. We are connected beyond this life. And for some of you who may be in your own spiritual journey, you may have come across to those feelings and those experiences. We are connected as one. We all come from one energy stream, energy source. In each one of us, that light, that life force, goes like a current through us. But when that current is stopped, and usually loneliness is like a venom that goes through your veins that stops you from that life force, stops you accessing your own life force, illness comes about, segregation comes about, gossip comes around. We tend to look outwardly instead of looking inwardly. The third reason I would like to share with you why loneliness It's humanitarian reasons. There are so many scientific, up-to-date research about the effect loneliness has on our body. But as I talk about in #loneliness, through our body, through our human energy field that goes globally as a virus and spreads into the global consciousness as an uncontrollable virus. I come from a technology and scientific background. I spent 15 years stopping viruses coming into the network. One single virus can knock down the entire networks. It can stop the banks working. Business is totally isolated from the world. Loneliness is the same. The 5 reasons I would like to mention, it impacts our physical health. It is a cause of gastric ulcers. Also, it is a cause for low and high blood pressure, of different heart rhythmic diseases, obesity. Loneliness is there. Are we aware of it? In which way loneliness represents itself in our body? I've asked many people, say, I'm not lonely. I don't need to read the book. Right, let's have a chat. The second part, loneliness impacts our emotional being, our mental abilities. It is a root cause of many emotional problems. It is also what causes OCD, bipolar disorders, anxiety, frustration, anger. Third category, it impacts our cognitive functions. It makes people restless. It causes insomnia, sleep inversion. Anybody had a problem with sleeping? Okay. And then in a moment. So next part, it changes our behavior. Lonely people tend to become more aggressive, tend to develop sociopathic behaviors that further can separate themselves from the social environment. When we have lonely people, it also impacts our connection with another human being. Our behavior amongst ourselves changes. And finally, reason number 5 that I went to write about loneliness, it is costly. It costs the planet trillions amount of money. It costs each society. It also costs ourselves and everybody we are connected with. Now I would like you to imagine how many people have those symptoms that I've just mentioned. Plus there are many more I talk about in the book. And I would like you to imagine the real cost that is to our society, the real cost to our own inner being, the real cost to your body, and to your life, to your business, to your relationships, to your friends, to your families. And imagine for a second, what can we collectively do together if we could use that cost to better our world? And imagine if this call of #loneliness is globally awakening people to that call, awakening to what we can use our light for others to find themselves in darkness. And the way this happens in the society, loneliness disseminates across every single layer. It starts in the corporate world. If you've been in the corporate world or still are in the corporate world, you will know loneliness amongst teams, amongst yourself and your superiors, where you cannot share your being. You are there just like a robot doing a function without really truly accessing your light, accessing your capabilities of what you are capable of doing. If you started in a new company, you are lonely. If you move into a new country, you are lonely. If you start a new friendship, you are lonely. And the greatest thing which I observe is how everybody is looking down. We have more and more people looking down than looking into your eyes and connecting with you. You go on the tube and nobody is looking at you. You sit down in a coffee shop. Perhaps your soul wants to really simply connect with a human being. I met an amazing person who happened to be one of the greatest builders in Ireland at Caffè Nero in central London. He's been in London for a week doing his job. Nobody ever spoke to him. Every single day they're having his lunch. Nobody spoke to him. And he said to me, "What made you speak?" I said, "Well, I'm lonely." And I literally started that conversation. He said, "Me too." We are a lonely nation. Loneliness is everywhere if we truly open our eyes. What can we do about it? This is, maybe you've been waiting for this now. So there are many things out there that have come into my research that people are already doing. There are many books out there. There are many methods. Some of people, they just go buy a dog. And they just walk the dog because they're lonely, or they buy a cat, or whatever it may be. People find different ways to deal with their loneliness. What I would like to share with you is 5 key principles of TJ's evolutionary method, which I wrote about in Path to Wisdom. And that method I could use to resolve any global problem, including loneliness. So number 1, it's about acknowledging to yourself that adversity will always hit you. You cannot escape it. Just the moment we feel we've done something amazing, there'll be bang. So it will always be there. So when we have that true acknowledgement in ourselves that adversity will constantly happen, we start becoming better equipped how to handle it. And to truly acknowledge loneliness, it's about really looking within ourselves and being able to recognize the form and the shape that loneliness takes in ourselves. The second part, it's really achieving state within your mind that you can immunize yourself against loneliness. And also asking your inner being the questions that prevent you from being in your heart. What are the things that stops you from truly shining? What are the things that stops you from being at your greatness? What would your life be like if you truly unlocked your infinite powers within yourself? Some of you may want relationships, other businesses, other money, other whatever it may be. What would you be in your greatness? The third one, what we forget, it's truly that in every life adversity, we have a choice. So when adversity hits you, choose to be in your heart. It is easy to love somebody when it's lovable. But what I say to my clients and to people and humanity, it's to find ways within yourself to love the unlovable. And when you've managed that in your own life, in your own self, to love the unlovable part of you, you are able to stand as a clean mirror to every human being and say, "I love you." And the next part, it's really acknowledging within yourself that we are connected. So get connected, guys. And what I mean by that, not only connected with people, connect your inner being, connect all the parts within yourself to access that wisdom, to access that greatness, to access your soul's wisdom that knows who you are, that knows why you are here in this moment, sharing with me this beautiful experience. Each one of you knows that. Hashtag loneliness is truly a global call, and hence why in the hand, in the tear, it's our planet. Our planet both being almost attacked by viruses. And those viruses are everything we experience inside of us. Every emotion, every pain, every joy, every tear. We tend to hide away from our problems, from our illness, from whatever it may be, disability, obesity, whatever it may be. But we can't. We are connected beyond what our mind can perceive. And all of that is being shared transparently without any security. It is a scary thought, but your source energy is not there to judge. Your source energy in perfect balance is love. And therefore, your source energy will receive that from a place of love. Sometimes a total stranger becomes closer to you than your own family. Anybody knows that feeling? Okay. So in here, we all have the ability to make a change in ourselves and in the world. I invite you to read hashtag loneliness. I invite you to share it with the world, through press, through media, through TV. I invite you to find your own loneliness and do something about it. Because when you do that for yourself, you do that for another human being. The more you clean your inner being, the more others can drink the life force which nurtures them, and you do not feel drained. The only time you feel drained is while you are going through the process of purification of your own soul. And being able to bring yourself into that enlightenment, into that self-actualization that is required for us to step into our own greatness. Hashtag loneliness is not just a book. It is a life manual. It is distilled pearls of wisdom and 46 years of experiences, knowledge, wisdom, distilled for people to be able to embody them and automatically shift their inner being so that they can step into their own greatness. So together we can move into a more collaborative, peaceful, loving world. First of all, my thank you to all of you. Each one of you took your time to be here with me tonight. That's the greatest gift you've given to me and I've given to you. And any human being you interact, it's the greatest gift you can give. I would like to say a special thank you to all of my teachers, to all of my mentors, to all of my coaches, to all of my healers, and there have been many. Specifically, I would like to mention my recent mentor and coach, Dr. John DeMartini, whose love, wisdom, and truth has helped me clean my own mirror and continues to do so. Thirdly, I would like to really thank you, Sue, and her team at Cracking Events. This beautiful experience would have not been possible without your love and attention to detail which I have not seen anywhere. And people who know me, I don't really praise unless I really mean it from my heart. So thank you to you and to all your wonderful team for every single detail. I would like to say thank you to Andrew and his team. Thank you so much. Andrew was here also when I launched Path to Wisdom, and it's just seamless to have people around you who really care. And I've recommended him to anybody who comes into my experience who needs an AV. I would like to thank Elliot, whose second time is here, and his charm, his youthfulness is becoming more youthful every time I see him. It always surprises me, and I'm extremely grateful. I would like to thank all the people at Hilton. I would like to thank Haroon, Thank you for reading. I would like to thank each of the speakers, the camera people, every person in this room. I would like to thank my family, my friends. I would like to thank each one of you, really. And there's one person that it's not here. There are actually many people who are not here. I would like to thank those people. And I would like to thank all the people who have passed into new experiences and into the spirit world. I would like to thank your parents. Without them, I would not see you guys in here. Please pass my gratefulness and thanks to your parents. And I'd like to thank to all the people you left behind for you to be here tonight. It's very special and it's very humbling. I don't know how I stopped myself not crying, but my heart is both crying and also it's smiling. Thank you.